Good day to you, and welcome back to the podcast, Catch It, A New Perception. My name is Ketuk. I ask that you subscribe and share this with others. Hit that bell and have a reminder when the next episode comes up. Now I have officially released a podcast every Sunday morning for 52 weeks. I believe this would be week 53 as this gets released. And I'll continue to be able to offer this to people if they need it, if they want it, and if they continue to listen. I will do my best to continue to put it out and try to find some consistency. I think that consistency can go a long way. How do we learn to do anything that we do in life? How do we learn to mask pain? Is that what we want to do? Cover it up, mask it, whatever terminology you might use. I don't want to mask the pain and cover it up. I want to find the source of the pain to be rid of it. How do I do that? How do I find a way to find the source of the pain to be rid of it? My first thought comes with a little bit of physical pain. Today I don't really carry that. I'm a little sore. I have had some physical pain. And at different times, different levels, different types. I had a severe burn at one point. I don't know what degree it was called at this time. I don't recall. I know I lost many layers of skin. And the skin was literally dripping off my hand, and it was some pretty interesting pain. And it came within less than a month after a rather major motorcycle accident. And I was in the hospital, I believe, for about a week, maybe 10 days. I don't remember leaving the hospital. I think part of that had to do with the concussion. I've had a few of them in my life. I've created some migraines because of it. Maybe not because of that. I don't know exactly where the migraines come from, so that may not be a completely fair statement. As I said before, I sometimes misspeak. I don't mean to do that. And I do suffer from some migraines at times. These concussions I've had, the last one I believe that I had was this motorcycle accident. Now, a number of years ago. Closer to a couple decades. And within a month after that, I started a house fire, a grease fire, that was not a complete house loss by any means. And there was a fair amount of damage in the house. And I'd lost layers of skin on my hand through that burn. And those were two different types of physical pain even. So we'll talk about emotional pain, we talk about physical pain, and we talk about how I think often we try to mask that pain. I was in the hospital. I was telling the doctor I didn't want the morphine. And the doctor said, you're going to do this. You don't have any choice. And a friend of mine helped me understand. He said, you're spiritually fit. He said, this is medicine. You need to take your medicine. And he knows. I believe in medicine. I don't always believe in pharmaceuticals because they will take me down a rabbit hole I may not make it back out of. So when I'm in the hospital, I do this a couple times. This brother comes up to me and he says, this is medicine. You need to take this. So I take it. Every time he helps me, is what I'm told. I don't remember this day in the hospital. I left the hospital and they gave me more opioids to take home. couple every few hours I can take. And I was taking one at night, so when my wife would lay me down in bed, I would sleep in that position and not roll around. I was in an extreme amount of pain. She would also help me out of bed. I was in a lot of pain, for lack of a better term. I don't know how else to describe it. I can't even fathom that pain today. And I didn't want to make all the pain go away for a few different reasons. And one of them was because I wanted to know where that threshold was. I wanted to know what I could do or couldn't do. I didn't want all the pain to go away, so I didn't feel pain. I wanted the sharp pain to go away so I could deal with the pain. Interesting analogy. Emotional pain is no different in my life. So, with this physical pain, I was able to deal with it up until I let go of the painkillers right before I started physical therapy. I started the physical therapy. It was difficult. I broke ribs front and back. I broke my scapula. I busted my head open. I was in pain. And I start the physical therapy, and I still have at least soreness to my recollection. And I was off all muscle relaxers, no opioids, removed everything when it came to that stuff. And I think it was important so I could get my strength back to the best of my ability. Even though in the middle of that, I went to the doctor and got something for this burn. So I learned a lot about what I could do or maybe couldn't do to the best of my ability at that time in my life. And I say that because I don't really know that I could do that well, or I don't know that I wouldn't do it better if there was a way to do it better today. I do know I didn't want to mask that pain. And about a year later, getting ready to go to work, walking out the door, I fell to the floor in back pain. Have no idea where this came from. I literally crawled up the steps. I called my wife. I told her what was happening. I was using a cane. We got to the doctor. He gave me a prescription. I told my wife, I don't know if I want to take this. And she's like, oh, you did fine with it last time. Don't worry about it. You'll be okay. And as soon as I do that, personally, I end up down this rabbit hole I can't get my way out of. Oh yeah, I'll be fine. I don't have to worry about it. I know how to do this. None of that is true when it comes to masking pain. Because I will cover it up, believing I did okay last time, take a little more. Did I take enough this time? I don't know. Maybe I should just take another one to make sure I'm okay. And that becomes my way of thinking. It's very dangerous because I want to mask pain. I want it all to go away. Somewhere in my subconscious, I know that. So my conscious mind has to overcome this and say no. I don't know. I don't think I filled that prescription. I don't know if I filled that prescription because when my wife told me, oh, don't worry about it, you'll be okay, I said, it's okay for you to think that way as long as I don't. I don't think I'll be okay if I take this. And here's the whole problem for a guy like me, is I could take it as prescribed and make the pain go away. Whether it was a year earlier with a bike accident, whether it was at this point with the back pain, whether it was the burn, if I take it as prescribed, people are like, well, take it as prescribed. Well, when I do that, I could make all the pain go away. I don't need all the pain to go away by masking it. I need to know what the source of the pain is so I can strengthen myself to get through it long term. And not believe that I should always mask it with something. And there's probably other examples in my life. There's probably different examples in your life where you can look at this and realize that we don't need to cover up all the pain. I talk about migraines. When I first got a migraine, it was 25 plus years ago. And it is what I would consider paralyzing or debilitating. When I am laying down with all the blankets I can get over me in the darkest I can get, and it's too light. There's too much light coming in somewhere. I don't know how to describe it. They're like flashes, constant, like lights coming in from somewhere and there's no light. And I'm literally physically vomiting from this migraine. And I go to see a doctor, and at the time, what I was told by my doctor at that time was there is a pain medication that's a non-narcotic. Everything else is a narcotic for migraines. I said, I don't want a narcotic. I know how dangerous that is for a guy like me. Don't want it. Don't want to mask this pain. I would like it to subside. And he said, if this doesn't work, you're going to have to do the narcotic. So I tried it, and it worked. Now, since then, I've been able to deal with migraines as they come without the use of a heavy narcotic and being able to dissipate. Now, what I've learned is that often, not always, sometimes I might wake up with a migraine and I have to deal with that right at that moment. And they are debilitating to me. So, what I realized is that I have headaches that turn into migraines and I don't know what's going to turn into a migraine. So now I take something for a headache where I didn't. For a decade, I didn't take anything for a headache. I just realized that it's the best way to be able to get to the source of it without masking the entire thing and just deal with it to the best of my ability. Identify it. Identify the pain. Deal with it so I can live with it. And I can get through my day. I talk about this because in the next episode I'm going to talk about dealing with pain in the same way, in a different way. And I'm talking about emotional pain. So I thought I'd do an episode talking about physical pain and how it's affected me and how I don't want to mask it. I want to get to the source of it. I want to deal with it. I want to face it. And what I'm going to talk about in the next episode, I believe, an episode in the near future at least, I am going to talk about the same thing when it comes to emotional pain. And what I'll do to the best of my ability to not mask it, to not cover it up, to find the source of it, and to be rid of it. Looking forward to next time. Live in harmony with and use the bounty of the land to bring kindness to the world. Dok Shao, okay.